Let's talk about the things nobody tells you when you start growing plants. Not the basics. The things that actually change results. Cut-up kitchen sponge pieces placed at the bottom of a plant pot before the soil goes in are one of the best moisture retention tools available, and they cost nothing. Sponge material holds water and releases it gradually under pressure, absorbing excess water during watering and slowly returning it to the root zone as the soil dries. Plants in sponge-lined pots need watering significantly less often, and roots never go through the flood and drought cycle that damages them. The tap water is not the problem. What is dissolved in it is. Municipal tap water contains chlorine and chloramine. Both are toxic to the beneficial microorganisms in healthy soil, particularly mycorrhizal fungi that partner with plant roots and expand their ability to absorb nutrients. Fill your watering can the night before and leave it uncovered. Chlorine escapes into the air within 8 to 12 hours. Chloramine needs around 24 hours, or drop a small piece of activated carbon into the water. The average person eats around 100 bananas a year and throws every single peel away. A banana peel contains potassium, the third major nutrient on every bag of fertilizer sold worldwide. Listed as potassium controls how a plant opens and closes the pores on its leaves, how it moves water through its cells, and how it produces flowers and fruit. Bury a peel shallowly around the base of a plant, or soak it in water for 48 hours and use that water as a liquid feed. Roses, tomatoes, and fruiting plants respond visibly to this treatment. Used coffee grounds are nearly pH neutral. Fresh, unbrewed grounds acidify soil, but not the used kind you actually have access to. Their real value is structural. In heavy clay soil, they increase drainage and aeration. In loose or sandy potting mix, they improve moisture retention. They release nitrogen, phosphorus, and trace minerals slowly as they decompose, and they attract earthworms. A single earthworm processes its own body weight in soil every day, and their tunneling creates aeration channels that roots follow. An eggshell is approximately 95% calcium carbonate, the same compound in agricultural lime, which farmers use to neutralize overly acidic soil. Most potting mixes and garden soils gradually acidify over time. When soil becomes too acidic, plants cannot absorb nutrients properly, even when those nutrients are physically present. Crush eggshells fine and mix them into the soil to raise pH slowly and safely without the risk of overliming from commercial products. Most people water from above. It is the least efficient method for almost every plant. Water applied from the top evaporates from the soil surface before reaching the root zone. It creates wet leaf surfaces where fungal spores can germinate, and over time it compacts the top layer of soil. Bottom watering is the alternative. Place the pot in a tray of water and let the soil draw moisture upward through capillary action. Water goes directly to the root zone. Roots grow downward toward the moisture source. Leaf surfaces stay dry. Studies consistently show stronger root development and lower rates of fungal disease in bottom-watered plants. Plants produce salicylic acid naturally as part of their immune response to infection and pest attack. It triggers antimicrobial proteins and thickens cell walls. Aspirin is acetyl salicylic acid, a derivative of that same compound. Crush 1 standard aspirin, dissolve it in 4 liters of water, and apply it to the soil. Plants treated with this solution show measurably increased resistance to fungal infections, bacterial disease, and insect damage for several weeks. Research into this has been ongoing since the 1980s, and the mechanism is well established in plant biology. The angle and position of the cut determines whether a pruning wound heals cleanly or becomes an entry point for disease. Make the cut at a 45-degree angle, approximately 5 millimeters above a leaf node or bud, with the low point of the angle facing away from the bud. That slope lets water run off instead of pooling. A flat cut directly above a node retains water and increases the surface area available for fungal colonization. A cut too far above a node leaves dead tissue the plant cannot seal, which gradually rots back toward the living wood. A blunt blade crushes rather than cuts, creating a wound far larger than necessary. Cinnamon contains cinnamaldehyde, a naturally occurring compound with broad-spectrum antifungal properties documented in scientific literature since the 1990s. The condition it targets is damping off, which kills seedlings at the soil line within days of germination. It is caused primarily by Pythium and Rhizoctonia species, and is the leading cause of seedling death in home propagation. Apply a thin layer of ground cinnamon to the soil surface around seedlings immediately after germination. It inhibits the responsible mold and fungal species without synthetic compounds. Root rot is caused by anaerobic bacteria and water molds that colonize root tissue in saturated soil. They thrive specifically in low oxygen conditions. A 3% hydrogen peroxide solution, the kind sold in pharmacies, diluted to 1% in water, addresses this directly. When applied to the soil, it decomposes into water and oxygen. The oxygen kills the anaerobic pathogens, aerates the root zone, and eliminates fungus gnat larvae in the top few centimeters of moist soil within 24 hours. Keep the concentration at or below 1%. Above 3%, it damages root tissue directly. Bare soil loses moisture faster than most people expect. On a warm day with low humidity, an unprotected soil surface can lose several millimeters of water depth per hour through evaporation alone. A layer of mulch, bark chips, straw, or dry leaves reduces evaporation by up to 70%. Mulch also prevents extreme soil heating in direct sun, which damages shallow roots. As organic mulch decomposes, it adds humus to the soil, improving structure and water retention. One consistent mistake: applying mulch directly against plant stems. The retained moisture promotes rot at the crown. Leave a gap of several centimeters between the mulch and the stem. Plants do not respond to language or meaning, they respond to carbon dioxide and vibration. Human speech produces a continuous stream of carbon dioxide directed toward whatever the speaker is facing. During photosynthesis, carbon dioxide is the raw material plants convert into sugar. Experiments at the Royal Horticultural Society found that plants exposed to low-frequency sound vibrations in the range of a speaking human voice show faster germination rates and increased stem elongation compared to control plants grown in silence. Indoor plant leaves accumulate a dust layer within a few weeks of being cleaned. Even a thin coating of particles reduces the light reaching the leaf surface by between 5 and 10%. For plants already in suboptimal light conditions, that reduction matters. Chlorophyll molecules can only convert light that physically reaches them. Wipe leaves gently with a damp cloth once every 2 to 3 weeks. It restores full light absorption and removes the microscopic eggs and early-stage colonies of spider mites which prefer dusty leaf surfaces. Water left over from rinsing or cooking rice contains starch, B vitamins, phosphorus, and potassium released by the grains during washing. Applying it to plants delivers a mild nutrient solution directly to the root zone. The starch acts as a prebiotic in soil, promoting beneficial lactobacillus bacteria involved in breaking down organic matter into plant-available nutrients. Rice water left at room temperature for 24 hours until lightly sour has a stronger effect because the bacteria multiply during fermentation. When a plant is placed in a pot significantly larger than its root ball, the excess soil stays wet for extended periods after watering. The roots are not yet extensive enough to absorb moisture from the outer zones. That persistently wet, root-free soil becomes the ideal environment for Pythium, Phytophthora, and other root rot pathogens. Move plants up by no more than 5 centimeters in pot diameter at each repotting, and let the roots colonize the new space before the next size increase. Neem oil is pressed from the seeds of the neem tree and has been used in agriculture for over 2,000 years. The active compound azadirachtin disrupts the hormonal systems of insects at every stage of their life cycle without affecting mammals, birds, or beneficial insects like bees. Insects do not develop resistance to it because it targets fundamental biological processes rather than specific receptor sites. 2 milliliters of oil per liter of water with a small amount of dish soap as an emulsifier controls aphids, spider mites, whiteflies, and thrips simultaneously. It also has antifungal properties against powdery mildew and certain leaf spot diseases. Neem oil degrades rapidly in sunlight and soil, leaving no persistent residue. Each plant continuously releases water vapor through its leaves through transpiration. Group several plants together and they release that moisture into a shared space, raising localized humidity significantly above the surrounding room. Tropical plants evolved where humidity rarely drops below 50%. Standard indoor conditions often sit below 30%, producing brown leaf tips, closed stomata, and slowed growth. Grouping plants raises the immediate surrounding humidity by 10 to 20% without any equipment. Magnesium is the central atom in every chlorophyll molecule. Without adequate magnesium, chlorophyll cannot be synthesized. Leaves develop yellowing between the veins while the veins themselves stay green. This is called intervenal chlorosis, and it is common in roses, tomatoes, peppers, and container-grown plants where nutrients are not replenished between waterings. Dissolve 1 tablespoon of Epsom salt in 4 liters of water and apply it once a month. A deficiency corrects within 2 to 3 weeks. Excess magnesium competes with calcium uptake, so apply it when deficiency is the actual problem. Standard all-purpose potting mix is not the optimal medium for anything in particular. Succulents and cacti evolved in soils that drain within seconds of rainfall. Standard mix retains moisture for days and will rot their roots. Orchids are epiphytes that grow attached to tree bark in nature. They need bark chips and perlite that let air circulate around roots between waterings. Blueberries, azaleas, and camellias need genuinely acidic soil below pH 5.5. Using the correct medium for each species is the baseline condition for the plant to function. Every other action, fertilizer, pruning, pest control, is less effective if the growing medium is wrong from the start. Repotting is a significant physical disruption. Root tips break. The fungal network attached to the root system is severed. The plant lands in an unfamiliar soil environment. Almost every plant enters a recovery phase lasting between 2 and 6 weeks. During this period, it directs energy toward root repair, not above-ground growth. Leaves may yellow, new growth stalls. The plant may look worse than before repotting. Fertilizing during this phase adds chemical stress to an already compromised root system. Keep the plant in stable conditions and only enough water to prevent the soil from fully drying out. Then, wait. Plants that receive no intervention during the recovery phase consistently emerge stronger than those that are fertilized or disturbed immediately after repotting. The recovery is not failure.